Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us. The death of a man over the weekend in the West Flat neighborhood is now being investigated as a homicide. Prince Albert police say they were called to a theft at a home in the 700 block of 18th Street West on Saturday afternoon around 3:45. When officers were there, they found a 41-year-old man dead inside the residence. An autopsy was done yesterday, and the death ruled a homicide. No arrests have been made at this time. The city of Prince Albert says winter weather has impacted the transit system this week. Yesterday, the city said cold weather and snowfall resulted in some routes being taken offline or moved to hourly service. As of this afternoon, the city says the Core Express bus is not in operation. The all-day bus is leaving hourly from the transfer station at 15 minutes past the hour, and the rush hour bus is leaving hourly at 45 minutes past the hour. RCMP in La Ronge seized cash, drugs, and weapons following an investigation by the Crime Reduction Team and Critical Incident Response Team. RCMP executed a search warrant at a home in La Ronge on Wednesday. Multiple people were inside and were arrested. Officers found and seized around 149 grams of cocaine, cash, 3 semi-automatic firearms, 2 prohibited magazines, and a large cache of ammunition, plus drug trafficking equipment. As a result, 3 people were charged, a 61-year-old from Air Ronge and a 47-year-old and 42-year-old from La Ronge. Just under 2 weeks until the official start of winter, and Mother Nature is giving us a preview. Across the province, everything from rain and above-zero temperatures to snowfall and high winds were expected. And through it all, residents in Saskatoon are taking it all in stride. This latest blast of wintry weather hit a lot of the province, with the Saskatoon area getting up to 5 centimeters of snow. The system tracked east throughout the day, according to Environment Canada. That meant a lot of shoveling in and around the city. Tire shops say their rush is over, with most people planning ahead, while tow truck companies had a busy morning on Tuesday. Rain in the southern part of the province turned to snow in parts. Some highway closures in the south, and RCMP sent out an advisory about ice and snow impacting highways.
By Thursday afternoon, that's when we're going to really see temperatures plummet. Expecting overnight lows well into the minus 20s. And then for the weekend, those temperatures plummet a little bit further.
Environment Canada is expecting winds to add to that, and the potential for wind chills to push the temperature into the minus 40s in parts of southern Saskatchewan, including Saskatoon. So more snow, Jeff, and again, I don't think this was quite snowman making snow. It didn't seem to be gripping.
No, this isn't sticky snow at all. This is the light, fluffy stuff, but you get enough of it, and it hurts your back when you shovel. But yes, this is definitely, we said it was going to be shoveling time, and it certainly is. And of course, it's also plowing time and sanding and snow melting time, ice melting time, because this nasty little storm has dropped a lot of grief, particularly in southern Saskatchewan, where we had some road closures in and around the Estevan area today. But we'll talk about the impact on Prince Albert area when we come back.
Inclusion Saskatchewan is raising concerns about students with intensive support needs being excluded from education. After getting data from 18 school divisions, Inclusion Saskatchewan found about 1 in 9 students who have intensive support needs were excluded from school on a part or full-time basis last academic year. It says in some cases, students were sent home because support workers were unavailable, while other students were given altered schedules where they attend school for as little as 30 minutes a day. It says the primary reasons were funding decisions, lack of staffing, behavioral support gaps, and barriers in accessible transportation. It hopes the data will help guide decisions to improve inclusion.
So many are committed to the concepts of inclusion, but we have a very large and complex system. And so I believe that together, when we collaborate and we get creative, we can find some solutions for these students.
The Saskatchewan School Board Association says it's working with school divisions to create a more inclusive environment, but the report highlights that there's still work that needs to be done. The province says it recognizes concerns about the experiences of students, and it's committed to working with school divisions to provide every opportunity for students to succeed. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced he might put tariffs on Canadian potash.
A lot of it does come in from Canada.
It does.
And so we'll end up putting very severe tariffs on that if we have to.
Trump says imposing tariffs on fertilizer exported from Canada may bolster American farmers to produce more. In a statement to CTV News, the Saskatchewan Mining Association says U.S. farmers depend on Canadian potash and Canadian farmers depend on U.S. phosphate. It adds the potential tariffs will increase costs for farmers on both sides. The government of Saskatchewan says it continues to work with countries internationally in an effort to not rely on the states as its sole trading partner.
When comments like this come, we take a breath, take the president seriously. Don't always take him literally, word for word, with respect to what he says. And let's remember as Canadians what we're actually trying to negotiate here, which is a broader replacement for or update to USMCA, and so that we can continue trading not only with the U.S. and Mexico, but with other countries around the world. The goal here is for free, fair, and open trade. The goal here is not to take the bait, so to speak, on every everything that's mentioned.
The Saskatchewan Mining Association says it will continue to engage constructively with policymakers to support predictable trade. The provincial government is calling for better communication between the Global Transportation Hub and the City of Regina on proposed developments. It follows the auditor's review of how Costco received a $6.78 million city incentive to build in West Terra instead of at the Global Transportation Hub. The auditor was concerned about how the two levels of government ended up competing against each other. She found that this GTH did not have well-defined collaboration procedures for major developments.
And so that going forward, in the event that, there is these surrounding municipalities that may be impacted by developments at the hub, that they have a very outlined, rigorous, transparent process, and they'll use the same process consistently time after time.
The auditor did find it acceptable for the GTH to attract both warehouse and retail developments. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe is touting the province as one of the most affordable places to live. Moe was addressing members of the Saskatchewan Realtors Association during their annual State of the Real Estate Conference in Saskatoon this morning. Moe says the province and feds need to work to increase the province's overall housing supply as a small supply of homes on the market continues to challenge the industry. Saskatchewan Realtors Association President Chris Garrett says there are hundreds more realtors than there are homes to buy in Saskatoon.
We in Saskatchewan have the lowest amount of realtors per population of all provinces in the country. So we have a very resilient market of professionals who can service the market. So it just explains how dire that situation is of needing more inventory in the market.
At the start of the month, there were less than 600 available properties with more than 800 realtors working in Saskatoon. The Saskatchewan Rush are back in action after a season-opening win against the Calgary Roughnecks on Saturday. Now the team is hoping to continue that momentum all the way to an NLL championship. After making it to the finals last season, the Rush were narrowly defeated by the Buffalo Bandits 2-1. Players say after coming so far, that memory will serve as fuel this year.
We thought we had the team to do it last year. We brought everyone back, and that's the goal this season. It's pretty much championship or bust, I think.
The Rush are on the road this weekend, heading to Ottawa to face the Black Bears on Friday. After the break, an interview with the Veselka Ukrainian Culture and Heritage Club. Jasmine meets the president to discuss the goal of cultural awareness.
Joining us is Zdenek Rabbi, president of the Veselka Club here in Prince Albert. We're going to find some background information on the club and learn what they do in the community. So how would you describe the Veselka Club to someone who's just found out about it?
Okay, it's what we do is we promote Ukrainian culture, language, traditions, and raise awareness of Ukrainian history and that sort of stuff. Veselka in Ukrainian means rainbow. So, yeah.
How long has the club been active here in PA?
I can't say exactly, but probably in area of about 30 years or so at minimum. Probably going back to the 1980s. Yeah.
Are all the members of the club Ukrainian?
No, we're we're all inclusive. We had a $5 membership fee, and we sort of dropped that and just kind of sign up and get on a newsletter and come to our meetings if you want. And
what are some of the things that you do throughout the year?
Okay, well, probably the biggest. Well, there's two fairly big. Like we run a food booth at the exhibition. And we bake bread like in a traditional clay oven, and so that we promote like our traditional foods like pierogi and holubchi and sausage and that kind of stuff. And then the next big event that we have is the commemoration of the Holodomor. And that is a famine, man-made famine that was brought on by the Soviet Union and Stalin in 1932. So a lot of people aren't aware of that. There was they're not sure how many, but somewhere in the vicinity of 5 to 8 million Ukrainians perished in that famine. And we're trying to get the awareness out on. It was a very dark chapter in our existence. Yeah.
So raising awareness, is that, would you say, like one of the main goals that the club has, or what are some of the other ones?
Yeah, we just had on the 22nd of November, we just had a fairly big get together, and this is like nationwide. Like Canada has recognized this Holodomor as a genocide against Ukrainian people, and we have a church service, and then we have a get-together, and we have some people come out, some people who study history, and a very good one is Dennis Ogrodnik from PA. He studies that, and he gives us a presentation. Marie Knudsen also has some displays in that she puts out, and so after the church service we have a get-together. A big one coming up here is the Ukrainian-Canadian Congress of Saskatchewan. We are hosting it this year at the Chess Leach Room on March the 7th. So we're kind of getting prepared for that now, and we have some good people in the background that really work hard to get things organized and that. So that's the next big event. We may have an event on February 22nd, which is the day that Putin decided to invade the Ukraine, and that's so we might have a vigil on that particular day. We usually do that every year, but March 7th is the next big one.
Do you guys have like a Facebook page?
Yes, okay. Yes we do, yeah.
So you can find them on Facebook, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming out here and giving me some background information on that.
Okay, you're very welcome, and thank you very much.
Jeff measures just how much snowfall we got and whether we're getting any more after the break, plus millions of Canadians without a family doctor, but the numbers show slight improvement. Well, Jeff, down south, a few people made the most of the icy roads and threw on some skates. Up in Prince Albert and Saskatoon area, maybe more like toboggan weather.
I think this is much more in the area of tobogganing. Super slider snow skates, still a reference. No, it's not. No. Anyhow, no, we've had ourselves quite the day of inclement weather, and we're not done with it yet. That was the first of 3 clippers that's coming through. So number 1, number 2 is going to be zipping across here, and then in the second spot, and then fairly close behind it, a third clipper is going to sort of slide in much more of a southeasterly fashion, rather than clipping southwestern Saskatchewan. So we're keeping our eye on the other 2 clippers that are coming our way. So So this situation is going to linger into Thursday, so we'll have to keep our eye on that. Now, it might not be all day Thursday, it won't be all day Thursday, but certainly it's hanging around for tomorrow. So that's what we're keeping our eye on. Let's take a look at what we've got going on in our future cast. We can certainly see more of that snow crossing the border from British Columbia into Alberta and making its way into Saskatchewan, but you can certainly see more sort of a north-south line there as we roll into tomorrow. So 26 degrees on the minus side for Spiritwood, the same for Birch Hills, Melfort, Rostern, and Nipawin. 27 on the minus side for Candle Lake, 24 for the Battlefords, and as you can see, expecting most of that snow to be sort of a towards the eastern side of the province. But the second storm comes through, the second clipper comes through, and we do expect to see some substantive snow. Well, not as much as today maybe, but certainly more than just a dusting. Spiritwood minus 15 for a high tomorrow, minus 12 in the Battlefords, minus 17 for a high in Candle Lake. Still snowing in Birch Hills, minus 15 degrees. Rostern snow and minus 14. Nipawin not in the snow, minus 17 degrees though, and Melfort minus 15 degrees with some snow falling in the Melfort region on Wednesday. So for Prince Albert tonight, getting quite cold overnight, minus 26 degrees with periods of light snow, winds out of the west at 10, but backing off. But then the snow sticks around for tomorrow and maybe up to about another 5 centimeters of snow for tomorrow, minus 15 degrees for a high. And mid-afternoon it starts, the winds aren't too bad, but then mid-afternoon they start to pick up and winds out of the southeast 20 gusting to 40. And then here is the 7-day forecast for Prince Albert and area. Cloudy skies on Thursday, minus 17. A cold Friday and Saturday in store. Check it out. Oh, but it's going to be sunny or mainly sunny. Sunday, things start to improve. Minus 14 degrees with a 40% chance of flurries. Monday, minus 12 degrees, and then look at that, minus 7 degrees above seasonal temperatures and a 40% chance of flurries on Tuesday.
Just looking at those icons and everything seems to be falling straight down. That's not how the snow tends to fall, especially with the wind here in Saskatchewan.
What are you, a scientist?
It's more sideways, more on an angle. Well, speaking of angles and maybe curling a little bit, Saskatoon's Nutana Curling Club is set to host the 2026 Canadian Senior Curling Championships. The best 50 and over men's and women's curling teams across Canada will compete from December 6th to 13th, one of 2 major events hosted in the city, with the Montana's Brier being held less than 3 months later. It's the first time the tournament has been hosted in Saskatchewan since 2008, when it was held in Prince Albert. The last time the Nutana Curling Club hosted senior curling championships was 1999. The winners will represent Canada at the 2027 World Senior Curling Championships. The 2026 CFL schedule has been released, but riders and their fans will have the opening week off. After a week 1 bye, the Riders will host the BC Lions June 13th. Saskatoon will be hosting a preseason game May 23rd at Griffith Stadium. That'll be the first game in Saskatoon since 1991. The Riders will play everyone twice, but 3 matchups with the BC Lions and Edmonton Elks. The full schedule is up on our website.
Do you have a community event you would like to promote? Or maybe you'd like to draw attention to your organization. Let your local CTV station help you spread the word. Contact us at 306-922-6020 or email panews@ctv.ca. You can appear on CTV Prince Albert's News at 5 and get your message to our viewers.
A new national survey finds millions of Canadians still don't have a family doctor, but there has been improvement. Pauline Chan has the results of the survey.
The 2025 Our Care study shows a slight drop in the number of Canadians without a primary care doctor or nurse practitioner from 6.5 million people in 2022 to 5.9 million.
Access to primary care has improved in some ways, but in other ways, it continues to be a challenge.
Study author Dr. Tara Kieran says even those who have a family doctor complain they're often unable to reach them. And the study reveals other gaps across demographic groups. 87.7% 81% of those over age 65 report having regular primary care, compared to 74.7% of those under 65. 83.5% of women have regular primary care versus 79.4% of men. And 84% of those earning $200,000 or more have a family doctor, compared to only 69.6% of those earning less than $20,000 a year.
They also face a number of other barriers to having good health. When you don't have the money to be able to buy healthy food, to exercise regularly, to get all of the things that you need on a day-to-day basis to be healthy, and then on top of that, have lower access to primary care.
But Dr. Joss Reimer says the overall trend is encouraging.
Particularly in the context of the last 3 years having quite a lot of immigration and population growth in Canada. So given so much population growth, it's actually quite remarkable that we have improved the number of people who have access to a family doctor or nurse practitioner.
For the future, Reimer would like to see more emphasis on team-based care.
Family doctors can't be everything to everyone, and if we can bring in nurse practitioners and social workers and occupational therapists and many other provider types into the same clinic, we know we can provide better care to patients.
She also encourages increasing the numbers of various types of healthcare providers.
We know that Canada's population is aging, and they're going to require more healthcare providers, more healthcare hours.
Early next year, the study authors will be publishing a companion report focusing on provincial and territorial differences. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Brought to you by Saskatchewan Union of Nurses. Thank you to Saskatchewan's 11,000 registered nurses.
All right, Jeff, put that TV dinner back in the freezer. We're going back to Scandinavia once again because a few dozen chefs have gathered in Sweden, and they've entrusted the task of making the 3-course meal for the annual Nobel Prize banquet. Laureates, their families, Swedish royalty, and other heavy hitters will be arriving in Stockholm this week for the annual banquet. The chefs will make a secret menu for 1,300 people. It won't be revealed until the guests are seated, but the chefs have given a few hints. Nordic forest ingredients like dried porcini mushrooms in the first course and wild raspberries for the dessert. And if you don't like what's on the menu, there's also 400 bottles of champagne on hand, Jeff. And I got to ask you, do you think meatballs will be a feature in the Swedish dish?
As long as there's some lingonberry sauce. Lingonberry.
There you go. As soon as they said mushrooms, I thought, well, you got to put got to have meatballs with mushrooms.
Why not? It's Sweden after all.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for tuning in.